Welcome into the Graham Lincoln McLean podcast, presented by Ingles, the official supermarket of Graham Lincoln McLean. Our dear friend Eric McLean is wearing black today because it is code blue, code red, code black. Very, very concerning dark times. For the Atlantic Coast Conference, Mac, pretty much everything bad for the league as a whole that could have happened this weekend did, except Miami did win. So shout out to the Canes. Syracuse can't do anything. But my goodness, Mac, rough weekend.
I don't really know what you're talking about. I think we have the deepest league in America. I think other teams and conferences are lucky they don't have our schedule, that they don't have to go to really tough places to play like we do. So I don't really know what you mean. No, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And I'm going to show you how dark I can get here in a second of where my head is of how this is going to go down. But just the fact, and y'all like chime in, please, in these comments on how you feel. The fact that the ACC in back-to-back weekends had their two very well-positioned, highest-ranked teams for the college football playoff lost so 4 in 2 weeks, lost back-to-back weekends is par for the course, I guess. Typical, horrific, frightening, saddening. I don't know. However you want to phrase it. I'll tell you the comedy in all of it, though. And I know you were busy with your in-laws and stuff, so I'm not sure if you saw or not. But we wanted to defend the realm. We wanted to defend the ACC. And so we went on a 10-minute tangent of why the ACC was disrespected. And Taylor and I decided that looking at the numbers, looking at a team that was ascending and that we thought would be playing at a really high level that only had a limited amount of losses in Louisville would be the show pony that we danced around the arena. We look like the biggest idiots ever. And it's so infuriating just to see it. And like literally I'm laughing to not cry. That's what's happening. It is wild, KG. It is absolutely wild. And it's just like, I don't know. I know these coaches probably don't care at the end of the day because they're only focused about their school. But like big picture, could y'all help? Could you help us, please? You complain and gripe and words I don't want to say about these different things. And yet you are the problem. Get it together. Win when you're supposed to win. Build quality teams. Do these type of things. It is maddening, KG. And like to sit here and say, well, the playing field's uneven and you're never getting that money unless you start playing better. Like it's not, complain all you want. Be lucky you got what you do at the end of the day, because it is code red. It's code red. It's code blue, which is worse. Code blue is the worst. That's what it is right now.
Mac is in a dark place, and I'm with him because it is frustrating, but we do want to get into these games. I think a team, for example, Mac, that maybe you're not as mad at is a team like Wake, because they've completely exceeded expectations, and it's not like they've lost crazy games that they shouldn't, right? I mean, the Florida State game is a debacle. That's terrible.
Furious with Wake Forest.
Okay, all right.
Furious. Either be good or be bad. Choose one.
Pick one.
And that's,
so Mac, you just want a bunch of 9-3, 10-2, or Boston College. Like Boston College is doing what you want, right?
Yes, just be that. Somebody has to be the sacrifice. Like, just be who you are. That's what I need. But
all right,
at the end of the day, like the fact that you go out here and have the audacity to hold Virginia and SMU to a point is crazy. It's so crazy. I don't understand it. But that is football. And again, I said this a week ago. That's why it's fun.
That's why it's fun. That's why it's supposed to be fun. Okay, I know Mac's doing some cooking today. He's making some chili, right?
Ooh, how'd that look? That's the only silver lining of the day. 2 silver linings. Three, if you want to count it. I lump them to one. I got to see my baby girl and wife, which was amazing. So happy when they got home. And then, some chili was made, and it's much more consistent and better than ACC football.
Mac needs a quick break. We're going to get to a message from our friends over at Ingles and then get into these games.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Mac, let's get into these games. We'll start with the ACC's highest-ranked team, or was their highest-ranked team. That's not going to be like that after this weekend. Number 14, Virginia. They lose to the Deacs. Wake Forest beats Virginia 16-9. This game was pretty gross. It was not fun to watch. There was very little scoring. And even like I'm not sure it was good defense. I think it was just kind of bad offense. And of course, Chandler Morris gets knocked out in the second quarter. So that's a big factor here. And Mac, if the committee claims to really watch, then they will know that Virginia lost their starting quarterback in the second quarter. And it's not like Virginia looked amazing before that, but they were up 3-0 when Chandler Morris went out. Kalen had that big run afterwards, the backup, and they needed to score there. They needed to get more points, but they got a field goal. That was obviously an issue for them. And then you had the big punt return for Wake. Obviously, Wake got momentum. No Chandler Morris. They were able to get some confidence and get things going. But like Virginia, here's the thing. If you're a playoff team, you need to beat Wake Forest even with your backup quarterback. Like, I think that's fair to say. You need to win a game where you held the opponent to 64 yards passing. Like, you need to win that football game, and the turnovers really did kill Virginia in the end, Mac.
Yeah. I think, the defense for Virginia, and we'll talk about Wake, because I think you said something earlier that is very true, and we will talk about that. I am going to completely detach every team from the greater good, and we are going to silo this thing out and try to look at this from a positive light. But yeah, Virginia, I mean, defensively, exactly what I wanted. Hold a team to 64 yards, check. Yep, that's the recipe. And the fact that they just couldn't do anything. And the offense looked as bad as it's probably ever looked in the history of anyone that can remember. That's a Virginia fan. And a lot of people had tweeted that and said that, and they packed it out. It's family weekend, all these things. And I know those fans feel that too. I know they feel that disappointment of, maybe that was their first time they were able to come back home and watch, and that's what we get to see. Like, it's frustrating, and it's a hard game. And I think ultimately, though, you're right. If you are, a playoff team, if you are a team that deserves to win an ACC championship, find a way like you have all year. And it really is disappointing because it was shaping out to, be when you look at this box score and you see what they held them to, you're like, yes, perfect. And then you look at the offense, you're like, no, what happened? How? And so it's super disappointing. I'll say from a glass half full, Virginia, all your goals still in front of you, and you have a massive opportunity this weekend in regards from a conference standing standpoint and for keeping your, name in the hat and the fight alive, because there's a 5-way tie at first place right now. I don't know how the tiebreaker works. We're going to get into that maybe on Friday's episode, but it's still there. You're just going to have to work for it. And it's not one of those things where, you maybe need help. We'll see what the tiebreaker scenario is. And then for Wake Forest, like you said, Coach Jake Dickert, I mean, unreal. The fact that they probably should have beaten Georgia Tech, the fact that they did beat Virginia, beat SMU. It's incredible what he's doing. This team is going bowling. This is a huge, huge accomplishment in year one. And I think the frustrating part, maybe to think about this from I don't know, it's probably a little obnoxious, maybe a little unrealistic, but imagine if they had an offense. Imagine if they could throw the ball. I mean, how good this team, with the special teams, with the defense, with obviously the coaching would be, and how fun that'll be. So maybe, who knows, transfer portal, go get them. Go get whoever the heck you want, however the money is structured, however much you can pay them. We're in a different world now. And I think people will see it. I think it'll be easy to sell to recruits and transfers because there's really nice success right now that they're having. So huge shout out to him. If the season ended today, right now, he's my coach of the year for sure. We'll see what happens the rest of the way. But really just excited for Deke Nation and for, Wake Forest and what they're accomplishing there.
Yeah, like you said, Mac, I mean, the offense has struggled, and they've just found ways to win. Their defense has kept them in pretty much every game except Florida State. I mean, that game was just crazy because then Florida State the next week looks terrible. We'll get to that. But when you look at Wake Forest, what they have remaining, Mac, I mean, this is a possible 8-4, 9-3 Wake Forest. They host North Carolina next weekend. They're already 6.5-point favorite. They have Delaware, and then they go to Duke. And Duke,
Amazing.
Duke has got issues. With Virginia, Mac, I do think you talked about silver linings earlier on this episode. If they can get right, which I just don't know with Chandler Morris. Like, you need Chandler Morris out there. Kalen he didn't look ready. I guess you could try to get him ready this week for Duke. You're obviously going to have to try, but it's a big drop-off, it seems, at this point. You have Duke, you have then you have Virginia Tech. If you win out and, different things happen and you do end up winning the ACC, obviously you're going to most likely be in, but you do have this caveat of we lost our starting quarterback in this game. Like that's not nothing. But like I said earlier, and I still stand by it, you should beat Wake Forest at home without your starting quarterback.
Yeah.
If you are a playoff team. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Well, the only way they're getting in is if they win the ACC. I mean, there's no
for sure.
on the table here. So I don't even know if that would necessarily be a decision that has to be made by the committee if they're looking at that. Which it could be. I'll tell you
Or
my
seeding.
super bad
Mac,
situation.
Mac, do you want to go ahead and throw out your dark scenario?
I want to end it. I want everyone to be happy, and then I'm going to rip you back down to earth.
Point
Maybe
is,
farther than earth.
the ACC champion is not fully guaranteed a spot. It's the 5 highest ranked. So you still need, just a disaster. You still need to, the committee to rank you somewhere, Mac. So that's my point of them looking at the quarterback being out. But still, overall, I mean, the huddle looked legit. It looked like the Scott Stadium looked awesome. It looked like a great environment.
Yeah. The huddle was fun. And I forgot to touch on that. Great crowd. Again, we have had 4 straight weeks of unbelievable crowds. I will say this was really cool. This was the longest staying crowd. Like they were there the whole time and they were deep and they were packed. They had awesome signs. So big shout out, big kudos to you guys for showing up. I hope it was fun. There was a lot of cheers. There was a lot of back and forth. We had Chris Long on, which was amazing, and he was fantastic. It was a super unique experience. So big shout out to Virginia and all the Wahoos that were out there behind us. That was a big time. It was really, really fun.
Yeah, and then the game. But we'll see. We'll see Chandler Morris's status and going forward for UVA. Mac, as disappointing as the UVA result is, okay, I would argue Louisville's more disappointing. You lose to a Cal team, 29-26 in overtime. Now, you're missing Isaac Brown. I will say that. Let's put that out there. However, you still ran the ball. Keyshawn Brown was fantastic. He had 14 carries for 136 yards. You lose to Cal in overtime. Sagapolotele throws the ball all over the yard. And Miller Moss just had a rough outing, Mac. This was reminiscent, not as bad of a loss, but because Cal is 6-4, but reminiscent of Louisville's loss to Stanford last year. You have everything in front of you. You have some really good wins under your belt, and then you go do this. I know Louisville fans have to be so frustrated with how this went down.
Yeah, it is frustrating. And I think I think just how it looks, how it was happening, the fact that Miller he's not playing well right now. And I think that's super frustrating. And even kind of a bigger picture thing when I think about Florida State, Louisville, Miami, it's probably it for right now. Just these one-off quarterback carousel, get them in for a couple months, get them out type thing. It doesn't work. That's why you guys can't win. That's why you're not sustainable. There's no culture in what you do. That's the hardest position. It's the most important position. It's the best position that can impact the game. And for you guys just to have somebody off the street that could care less about the logo on your, side of your helmet or who you are as a school, that shows up. And when stuff gets hard, is what it is. I think talent evaluation is another thing. And you've seen that for various reasons at the different schools, success and downfall. And so it's very interesting to me which one of those 3 quickly can get a quarterback for the future, can get a quarterback for more than 6 months. Like who can do that first? And then is it sustainable? And is it something that can be built upon? And do they evaluate properly? I think Jeff Brom's one of the best coaches in the league, one of the best coaches in the country. this was a big miss, and it's
Right.
unfortunate that he can't get it out of him, and everything that I'd heard and everything that I was told, it's a bit shocking that, this is kinda where we are, and to me, there is no excuse. Ma If you wanna blame the offensive line and say that they're not this or that, maybe, but this guy's surrounded by weapons. He's surrounded by freaks. I mean, Chris Bell is a monster, and I know he's not perfect, but you should be able to get that guy the ball, and you should be able to make things happen. Again, your best player at running back was out, but Keyshawn was awesome, and he ran the ball really, really well there. So it was super disappointing just to see that. And again, it's embarrassing for me. I mean, at the end of the day, where you try
Yeah.
to raise a team up, you try to elevate a team, and then they just do that, and you're just like, okay, well, my bad for believing, type of thing there. Sangapolatelli, great to see him back, and his, really his best game in a long time, taking care of the football. I mean, KG, he's making throws out there that are just far and few in between other guys can do. I mean, it's
Yeah.
very impressive to see. I'm fascinated to see how that goes. Can Cal hold on to him? I hate that we're saying that, but it's a very real thing because of how good he is, because of what that's going to look like, and just the execution. I mean, shout out to Cal, you know, taking this thing in overtime and getting it done and holding them to a field goal, and then a great play design, rolling to the left, get it to your playmaker. See you later. We're going home with a big dub here.
Well, think of who was Cal's quarterback last year and where he is and what he's doing now when you
Yeah.
talk about Fernando Mendoza and just Cal holding on to a quarterback. I think that's a very fair
Mhm.
question, but I do think Justin Wilcox done a pretty good job with this
Yeah.
group and the guys that they lost to the portal, the fact that they're 6-4, they have a bye, then they host Stanford. They should be, or they go to Stanford, sorry, they should beat Stanford. Then they host SMU last week of the season. We'll see what happens there. But Mac, when you talk about Miller Moss, like I thought he played well against Miami, right? And that's probably what a lot of people will remember and look at. But when you look at his season overall, he's completing 63% of his passes, 11 touchdowns, 7 picks, not a great QBR. His quarterback rating is the worst of his career.
Mm.
It's the picks are an issue. I mean, and I don't even have his fumbles in here. That's also been a problem. Like, it's weird because the Miami game, I thought he looked pretty darn good, but then other games this year, it's been a struggle.
Yeah. And I guess that's, even more of kind of the
Even
just the
more frustrating.
frustrating part with this
Yeah.
league, just the inconsistency from stars, the lack of ability from stars. I mean, Louisville dealing with all of that, and it's it's just one of those things that you got to get right. And so, for Louisville, what is the next step? Is there someone on the roster? Can you go and get a younger guy? And you're going to have some turnover. You're going to lose both those great receivers because they're out of time. They're going to go to the NFL, and you're kind of starting over from that point. So we'll see. Louisville for sure out of the playoff, more than likely out of the ACC championship there, and fighting for a fun bowl,
Yeah. Well,
maybe the
not
Sun
for
Bowl.
sure. I mean, technically, if they still go to the ACC championship and win it, if
No,
chaos
they're out. They're not getting
ensues,
the ACC championship. What do you
they
mean?
can't
Two
at all.
losses?
They have no shot.
Five teams with one loss. There's no way.
We'll see.
Maybe mathematically. Louisville fans, tell me how.
Mathematically,
I seen you
maybe.
play.
Well, they have SMU left, which, that's a big tiebreaker to have. They have Clemson, of course, and then they have Kentucky. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see, Mac. The one thing that I was talking about with Miami, and we'll get to them next, I thought it would really help Miami's case if Louisville won the ACC, and that
Mhm.
is most likely now not going to happen.
Yeah.
But number 18, Miami does win, Mac. Let's talk about a positive here. Miami
Ooh.
beat Syracuse 38-10. Very slow start for Miami, as they
Yeah.
have done. Did not score in the first quarter, got things going in the second. The third quarter was really good for them, and they stay in the hunt. I mean, I still think Miami is in the hunt because of the win over Notre Dame.
Mhm.
That win is a trump card in a lot of ways. It's huge for them. They're, of course, only 3-2 in the league, so they're not getting to the ACC championship, we don't think. But Mac, the best thing I saw maybe all weekend was the touchdown to Maui Noah. That
Yeah.
was crazy. I
It
mean,
was crazy.
that was even crazier to me. Was it Caden Proctor who scored for Alabama against Georgia?
I don't think he got in. He tried, but he got
Oh,
cut
okay,
down.
okay,
I don't
maybe he
think he
did.
got in.
But
Yeah.
Maui Noah catches the ball and you're just like it's like he just, like, lumbers into the end zone, and he was so excited.
Yeah.
That was probably my favorite part of this entire weekend for the ACC, to be honest, Mac.
As it should be, as it should be. When you got a big man like that moving at that speed, I mean, look
Get him
out.
the
I
ball.
I would have loved to have seen a collision, like him just
Right,
bolo
but
a
it's like
guy.
it's almost like no one wanted to touch him. Like,
No
Syracuse was
one
like,
wanted
"Okay,
it.
we're good."
We're
Like,
gonna.
I'm
They're like,
good.
"Go ahead, dude. It's good. Get in the end zone." And then he's running through the end zone even faster. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. Fun to see that. Carson Beck scored on a touchdown, a throwback to
Yeah.
Carson Beck. So they were getting creative, having some fun there. There was some jawing back and forth. I don't know if you saw that on
Mhm.
social media between Coach Cristobal and Coach Brown during the game. That was weird. And then
Interesting.
afterwards, Mario like staring him down, shaking his hand, like, "Good game, brother." It's funny to see that. Another slow start, like you said, it's kind of weird. I mean, this
Mhm.
Miami team
It
just
is.
confuses me. How talented they are, how big they are, and just can't get out of their own way at times. Carson had his head down, and I'm just like, oh God, here we go. And then he scores a touchdown, and everybody's happy. He's like a little kid. Everybody's good. And I will say the lack of consistency with the run game is super weird with Miami too, and how that's kind of happened of recently. Like it's not a secret now. It's kind of funny actually. Everyone is screaming about why are they only running the ball inside. I sit next to Jimmo Fisher, and he's just like, I don't understand this. I don't understand why they don't get to the edges. I don't know why it takes a quarter and a half to get the ball to Malachi Tony consistently. Um, and
Yep.
listen, I love Coach Dawson, and I've never called a game. I don't know how hard it is, but it just feels like, man, just call it. See what happens. Call stretch zone one time, and let's see what we can do. Because there's natural cutbacks there where your inside guys, who are probably your best guys, can still, make things happen there. I don't know. It's difficult. But good for Miami, and like you said, maybe they're in, maybe they're not. From an outsider's
They got a
perspective, need a
chance.
lot of chaos to happen. And we'll see. I certainly think our league is not helping them look stronger in any sort of way. You win by 28 points. I wanted 38 plus, whatever. We'll take it, I guess. That's not a cover, is it? Let's see where this game closed.
No, I don't think it was. I think it was it 28.5?
It was. That's crazy. Vegas is so
That's
dumb.
funny.
How do we not like investigate? We have all this like mob stuff. What are we doing? I mean, it's
Yeah.
wild. It's so wild how they know all that. But yeah, keep rolling, Miami. Let's see what happens. I mean, I like the defense. It was pretty much a not a shutout, but it was a great game. Had that late touchdown there, for Syracuse. But just a good job. Keep rolling. Get your playmakers the ball. Hopefully, you get some of these playmakers back. I mean, you didn't have your top running back, didn't have your top
Right.
receiver, and still, looked really good out there.
I was gonna add that they didn't have Mark Fletcher, of course. So the running game struggled a little bit, but they have to get healthy, and of course, they have NC State next week. I think there's a shot, but they have to keep
Mhm.
winning. They have to keep looking good. The biggest improvement for Miami that I saw this past week was no turnovers,
Yeah,
because that's been a huge issue.
no doubt.
And Syracuse is kinda doing what you prefer, Mac. They're laying down and letting the good teams win. So,
Be who you are.
thank you so
Don't need
much,
to mess
Syracuse.
around.
Thank you for your hard work. Okay, let's just because we're feeling positive, Mac. I'm gonna save the sweet dookies for the end because that was not great.
That's
But
perfect because
because
that's part of the worst case scenario. So we'll
yeah,
finish with them.
perfect, perfect. SMU handled their business. Clemson won. UNC won. Let's talk about Clemson here. Florida State fans are like, "What do you mean we're talking about the happy parts?" Yeah, no, this was not good for Florida State. I kind of want to start with Florida State because Clemson beats Florida State 24-10. This is the problem. Like, you are so inconsistent. Every single Saturday, you do not know what you're going to get from Florida State. And I think that's what makes these fans so mad. You blow out Wake Forest 42-7, and Wake's 6-3. Like, Wake's, they're a decent team. They got a pulse. And then you go to Clemson and you look terrible. I mean, it's just baffling. This is a team in Clemson that gave up 46 points to Duke, and you scored 10 on them. I thought the offense they couldn't run it.
Mhm.
Castellanos missed a lot of throws, but then you had some serious drops
Yeah.
that hurt Florida State. And this is a secondary that you should be able to throw the ball on. I wanted to start with FSU because I have I have some sympathy for these FSU fans. This is miserable. You have no idea what this team's going to do every single night. You have no clue.
Yeah. I will have sympathy because those are our friends, but in regards to the game,
Sure.
this, yeah, come on. This is what we do. That's what we
Yeah,
do here. But no, I think you're right. I mean, Florida State blatantly like packed it up, wrapped it, cool bow, and said, "Here you go,
literally.
take the game, take the game." Drops galore, big time plays, guys wide open downfield, either a drop or a miss hit with the throw there, couldn't get them. I mean, this should have been a Florida State victory, but I say that in regards to there was a lot of things that went wrong, for Florida State, and none of which were coaching. As much as y'all want to say, and as much as you want to make a change, and see, it's 2:50 here when we're recording this. Maybe something happens tonight. I don't think so, but it's frustrating, and it's kind of the
Well,
epitome of this entire ACC season.
the only coaching aspect, Mac, is the roster, right? It's to your
Well,
point
sure,
about getting
sure,
a new quarterback every year, right? Like, is this sustainable? So I hear what you're saying that,
yeah,
the drops were kind of outrageous, the turnovers a little outrageous. You didn't force any turnovers,
mhm,
but you did put that roster together. So there is
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Roster that beat Alabama. Weird. I don't know. It's strange how it happens. But at the end of the day, you're right. And you there were bright spots of the game, and you held Clemson to under 100 yards rushing, which I think is more of Clemson and more of play calling, which hard to be frustrated about beating, this team and winning, this season, but it is what it is. So we'll see, for Florida State, are they able to I don't know. I don't know what actually. There's a lot that needs to be fixed there. Looking at the Tigers, it was a fun game. It was a really fun game.
They
There were great
won,
things that
Mac!
happened. There was
A
some
home
lucky things that
game.
happened. I thought Cade played pretty well. Maybe his last game ever at night in the Valley. Probably his last game ever at night in the Valley. We'll see Furman. Maybe Furman, ACC Network primetime. There for the Tigers.
Yeah.
I think Antonio Williams is so good. I think that
Yeah.
TJ Moore is so good. I don't know. There's so many bright spots. It is infuriating, that just Clemson is where they are, but it was a good showing. It was a fun showing. The crowd was electric. I don't know if you saw any of that on TV.
Yeah,
It
it
was
looked awesome.
packed to the core. It was so loud on TV. The cool light shows and fireworks shows were really neat. And I think it was just needed. We kind of said this, and I had talked about it, on radio all week. Throw the records out. I mean, these two when they play, it's a big deal for whoever wins. It means a lot to both, and so that's kind of a cool thing to see there. I thought Peter Woods played really well.
Mhm.
I thought the Clemson linebackers probably had their best day. Sammy Brown just time and time again was showing up, making some electric plays. Avion Terrell as a blitzer was sick. I mean, that guy was unblockable, so fast, and just got to Tommy time and time again. Had some good pass breakups as well. Who am I missing here? There was a couple other things I want to say.
Ashton Hampton, I thought, actually had a
Ashton
pretty good
Hampton made
game.
some plays. Jacobs he's so good. He's gonna be a monster.
Yeah.
I hate that he's a guard, by the way. I think I've said that. I don't know
Yes, you
why
have.
you don't put Tristan Lay at guard or Lay, excuse me, at guard. But he's gonna be really, really good. And yeah, not running the football when you could and taking advantage of that was kind of frustrating to me. And the decision to run Cade with like a shattered ankle as much as they did. He ran 8 times.
Let me
Like
ask,
half were designed.
Nick and I were debating this.
Mhm.
How much of that is him is just Cade?
Hard to know. Hard to
You
know.
know?
I think there was a lot of them that were called, and I'm just
Okay,
like,
alright. Yeah. It
that's a
was the
choice.
just yes, I agree, I agree.
So,
It's just yeah. I just don't know how
when
much of that because we've always talked about how Cade has issues staying in the pocket. It's,
Mhm.
he arguably had his best game of the year against Duke when he couldn't run.
Yeah,
So it's always how much of that is play calling, how much of that is just him doing it. It's always a question. Never really
yeah,
know, I guess.
yeah. 6 sacks for the defense.
Yeah,
Woo! Who would have
that's got to
ever
be a
thought it
season
was
high.
against Tommy Castellanos? I think all 6 of them, or maybe 5 of them, were in the second half too. I mean, that was pretty nuts just to see that. So it was a great time. I got a bunch of amazing, joyful pictures and videos of Amelia dancing, and so life is good. Life is
Good.
good.
Glad Amelia enjoyed the game because that's really all I care about is make
All
sure
that
she has a good
matters.
time. Yeah. So just before we get to the rest of these games, for a while there, you're thinking, especially after you lose to Duke, I don't know. I don't think Clemson's making a bowl. But at
Mhm.
this point, I think, with these 3 left, you got to win 2 of the 3. Louisville, that game looks less scary by the day for Clemson.
The
Louisville's
the ACC thing to happen is Clemson just blows them out.
oh, absolutely.
Blows them
Yeah,
out.
that would, of course. Louisville's an early 3.5-point favorite. You're going to beat Furman, so that's your 5th win. You need to beat either Louisville or South Carolina. And South Carolina,
sucks too.
they're
Terrible.
bad. They got to win out to make a bowl. They have 3 games left, and they're 3-6.
Firing coaches, firing coordinators. I mean, they're awful.
So maybe there is hope for the First Responders Bowl, Mac. We will see.
8-win season loading. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. God, do not. SMU, I thought this was a good showing for SMU. Boston College is really, really bad. But SMU goes up to Boston and wins 45-13. Kevin Jennings was great. This is what you want to see from SMU. And they are very much still in the running, Mac. They're 5-1 in the league. They have a bye week. Then they host Louisville. That game is looking less scary. Again, Louisville's got kind of a tough finish here. And then they go to Cal. So a good showing for the Ponies. And I think for Miami, again, and SMU still has a chance to make the playoff by winning the league. But for Miami, if you're a Miami fan, you want SMU to keep winning because they beat you. But overall, good win for the Ponies. Bill Armstrong was up there in Beantown. He was telling us he enjoyed his time in Boston.
He did. I got him in a dark spot too. So that's all
you
me.
did.
I've been
bringing
a
us all
negative
down,
Nancy today. And that's what you do to me, ACC. It's your fault. I hate you. I'm just kidding. I love you. I can't live without you. I don't know what to do. But Kevin Jennings was fantastic. He was really fun to watch, pushing the ball downfield, electric. They ran the ball. That was my biggest wish list.
Yeah.
Is please run the football. They did that. Have not done that all year. Derek McFall with a hat trick. TJ Harden does all the hard work, gets him down there. And then Derek McFall, gets in the end zone, gets 3 touchdowns on the ground there, 200+ yards rushing, fantastic. And really, really good defensive effort too. I mean, SMU, it's just so strange that they're in this spot. You look at the Baylor game, should have won that.
Yeah.
You look at the Wake Forest game, you should have won that. And how different of a year are we looking at? It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre, but that's how it goes. And, I think it was a really solid game by them. Again, Kevin Jennings showing why, he has 16 completions and has 326 yards. That's incredible. I mean, that's pushing the ball downfield. That's big plays and really fun to see that. So huge win for those guys. And shout out to the Tar Heels. Getting another dub. 2 wins in the ACC. Let's go.
Rollback just dropped their licensed game day collection. Polos, hoodies, Q-zips, custom designed for your school. On game days, we wear Rollback, period.
Again, that's our positive. Shout out UNC. Still bowl possibilities for North Carolina. Now, Mac, let's finish with Duke as my phone is blowing up. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, Duke. They go to UConn and they lose 37-34. We said this was a you better not. We were very explicit, Mac, in what we needed Duke to do here. Yes. And major fail. The turnovers were a huge issue for Duke and the defense, which the defense has been an issue all year. This stat tells you really all you need to know. Duke is -9 in the turnover margin in their 4 losses this season. That has been the issue when you think back even like the Illinois game. Just the turnovers were just insane. And you go to a place like UConn, they're undefeated at home. They play really well at home. You can't just go up there and win the game. And obviously they didn't, but the turnovers were really concerning, Mac. And just this idea, it was just so ACC. You go to Clemson and win for the first time in 45 years, and then you go to UConn and you do this. Of course.
It is a little typical. And I don't even want to talk about Duke for a second right here.
Okay.
My guy, JF, I'm not going to even remotely try to pronounce his last name, quarterback for UConn. Yeah. It is so unfortunate that he's played for 100 years. I think this is his 7th season
Let me see.
that he's played. So this dude's my age, still playing, but he has 10,000 yards in his career, 90 tutties, and only 17 picks. This guy is crazy. The best player ever. He's the greatest player ever. I would really encourage and strongly push him to go to the UFL, maybe the NFL. I don't know. I mean, when you throw 25 touchdowns and no picks, maybe you get a look at the league. Dan Orlovsky, make some calls. Get this guy going. He was electric. He played so well, pushed the ball downfield, does not put the ball in jeopardy, very efficient. 300 yards. They ran the ball at will. It was really impressive to see that. And Duke, it just was like I was watching a combination of the Illinois and Tulane game. It's like they couldn't get out of their own way, couldn't score when it mattered, couldn't stop anybody when they needed to. It was, I don't know. It is the
Rough.
epitome of frustration in this league. Every other team, and maybe more than that you look at, has these unbelievable highs and then these unbelievable lows. If we can just pull those together and maybe go like this and trend this way, it would be fantastic. It would be so good and so fun. UConn's a good team. We've said that. I've discussed that. But you should be a better team. You should be a more effective team, more efficient team. And you're absolutely not. And that's what kind of leads me to this grand finale here.
All right.
I wish I could do like fireworks right now with my computer here.
Or a dun dun dun.
Here is like apocalyptic level stuff. Okay. So as you mentioned, Duke has one loss and quite frankly has a very good shot to be in position to go to the ACC championship game. When you look at who they play, how they're playing, how they're going to play, we assume, when they get in these games. If Duke is in as a 4-loss team, and let's say they play Georgia Tech, who they almost beat, quite frankly, at home, and, you play a team a second time, who knows? Who knows what the teams look like? Let's say Duke wins the ACC championship, and they have 4 losses, Kelly Gramlich.
Oh, God.
If the trends continue as they are, and the American, which is playing very well right now, very consistent, let's take some notes, has a 1-loss champion. If the Sun Belt, JMU, continues on their path, which they have 1 loss to Louisville, a very close game, a very awkward game, if you guys remember, early in the season, and they have 1 loss, the ACC is going to be on the outside looking in of this college football playoff.
Okay.
It is not guaranteed spots, ladies and gentlemen. It is not the SEC, the ACC, the Big Ten, the ACC, the Big 12, and then maybe a random G5. That's not how it is. It is the highest rated conference champions. And if 4-loss Duke is our champion, they will not be rated higher than 2 1-loss G5 conferences. And it will be Armageddon.
Okay. Yes. Everything you said is correct.
Yeah.
However, those are all big ifs, right? Duke even getting there with
honestly,
that
it's
defense.
probably a higher percentage chance than you want to give it credit for.
Right.
Like,
But
what
okay.
would you say? What would you say percentage out of 100 that chance is of?
Okay. I don't know. 18%?
Probably in the 20-30s, I bet.
Okay,
I'll look
but
it
listen,
up. I'll figure it out.
let's say Duke gets to the ACC championship. I still have faith in a team like Georgia Tech beating them again. And I understand what you're saying about beating a team twice. I think this weekend was so rough for all sorts of reasons, but Georgia Tech and Pitt did not play, which in the end is good because they couldn't lose. But I still have not as much faith in Pitt just because we'll see, even though they've looked great with Heinzel at quarterback. I still have faith in Georgia Tech. I think Georgia Tech has been the ACC's best team all year. I think Georgia Tech has probably always been the ACC's best chance to get in, especially after Miami lost to Louisville. And we need to have faith in your twin, Coach Brinke, and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Cut him open. He bleeds blue and gold. And yes, that's what I hope for. But I hear you. This would be catastrophic. What if, okay, let me throw this at you. What if all of that happens and Miami sneaks in as the non-champion? Wouldn't that be crazy?
Crazy at-large bid?
As an at-large.
Sure. If we're being totally real and honest, and this is like everybody turn it off, don't listen. If we're being really real, Miami is built the best to compete. Like if you look at other teams,
they're probably the best representative.
Yes. But
maybe outside Georgia Tech.
They can't get out of their own way. I'll give you this scenario too. I was thinking about this. Let's say I don't know, Virginia, SMU, whoever you want. Let's say someone else wins the ACC. Let's say Georgia Tech wins out, beats Georgia, loses in the ACC championship game, and a 2-10 Vandy is sitting right there as well. Who gets in, Vanderbilt or a 2-loss Georgia Tech team who beat Georgia?
You mean a 10-2 Vandy, right? Yeah.
10-2. What'd I say? 12-2?
2-10.
Oh, 2-10. Maybe next year.
There are so many.
There's a lot.
I don't want to tell you what I would assume would happen because of the conference logos. But yeah, there's a lot of what ifs, Mac, but the good news is Georgia Tech and Pitt are back this coming week. Pitt Notre Dame is a massive game, not just for itself, but for ACC implications, right?
Yep.
Like there's
Right?
that game's huge, and I'm really intrigued by that game. I think that game's going to be fun, Mac.
I am too. I'm at DEF CON 1. I am sad. I need to, I don't know, go watch something to get me
Go eat
happy.
some of that chili, Mac.
That's the ticket. Ingles
That's it.
chili will take
That's
care
it.
of me. Appreciate you guys letting us vent. I do feel better talking about all these things. It's a new week. It's a new day. We've got the Nardoos coming on later this week, so this game
Yes.
is huge. He will make me happy. He's going to get me inspired, and some good Italian food up in Pittsburgh because the ACC huddle is going there too. I cannot wait. It's going to be fun. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Drop in your comments. Are you with me? Are you sad and more sad, or is there something out there that I'm missing? Tell me where we need to be. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle and I just blank stare. Who knows? But we appreciate you guys. Go subscribe. Keep jumping on this train with us. It's going somewhere. Who knows where? And it's going to be fun. So we'll make it happen. Appreciate y'all. Until next time, we'll see y'all.